My best friend went on a business trip and dumped his genius daughter on me. Then my cold, iceberg-like CEO ex suddenly came looking for me. My buddy Ling Hao had to leave on a business trip. With a single phone call, he left his precious 3.5-year-old daughter in my care. Looking at the exquisitely adorable little girl in front of me, clutching an introductory book on quantum physics, reading it with great interest, I fell into deep thought. Who does this kid take after? My academically hopeless buddy couldn't possibly have produced a child like this. Since I had nothing better to do, I snapped a photo of the little girl reading seriously, became a dad overnight. Can I just add this daughter directly to my household registration? Then I posted it on my social feed. 1 minute later, my phone vibrated. A text message popped up from a number that I had deleted and blocked, with whom I hadn't had any contact for 4 years. The message appeared on my screen. It contained only 3 characters and 3 question marks. Fang Yuan? My name is Fang Yuan. I'm a transmigrator. In my previous life, I worked myself to exhaustion. I died suddenly at my desk in my 30s. When I opened my eyes again, I'd become a rich second-generation heir in this world with the same name. The original Fang Yuan was a hopeless romantic. He was crazy about a woman. In the end, she shattered his heart. He died of alcohol poisoning, which worked out very well for me. I inherited everything he left behind, including his immense fortune and a heart so broken that it only wanted a peaceful life. So I decisively resigned from my ceremonial vice president position in the family conglomerate. I got rid of all the freeloaders and hangers-on around me. Then I began living like a retired old cadre. Every day I exercised, explored fine cuisine, and tinkered with homemade fruit wine. Life was incredibly comfortable. The only thing that ever disrupted my peaceful routine was my childhood friend Ling Hao. Brother Yuan, save me! I'm going overseas tomorrow to negotiate a major project. I'll be gone for at least a month. Your sister-in-law is coming with me. There's nobody to take care of Guogu. Ling Hao sounded desperate over the phone, holding a glass of plum wine I had just taken from my wine cellar. I took a sip and lazily replied, "Send her to your parents. My parents are on a world tour. They won't be back until next month. Brother Yuan, you're the only person I can rely on. Guogo is obedient and well-behaved. She definitely won't cause you any trouble." I chuckled. A 4-year-old kid? How well-behaved could she possibly be? But I still agreed. I had no choice. Among all the messes the original Fang Yuan left behind, the only person who had ever treated me well was Ling Hao, my loyal brother. Early the next morning, Ling Hao and his wife brought over a little girl dragging a tiny suitcase. She was hugging a book as thick as a brick. Her name was Ling Guoguo, nickname Guogo. She was unbelievably adorable. Her skin seemed to glow, her big eyes were like black grapes, her long eyelashes looked like tiny brushes. She raised her little face, glanced at me, and spoke in a sweet, childish voice. "Hello, Uncle Fang. My name is Ling Guoguo. For the next month, please take good care of me." Her little adult tone made me laugh. It was adorable. "Hello there, Guoguo." Ling Hao and his wife left reluctantly, constantly looking back. I looked at the little dumpling in front of me, who wasn't even as tall as my leg, and felt a headache coming on for the first time. Fortunately, Guogo really was exactly as Ling Hao had described. She was very well behaved. No crying, no tantrums. She read books by herself and played puzzles by herself. While I was cooking, she even sat on a little stool by the kitchen door and calmly explained, "Uncle Fang, according to the second law of thermodynamics, continuously stir-frying over high heat like this will cause the beef fibers to contract excessively. The texture will become tough." I stared at the plate of green pepper beef stir-fry in the pan and began seriously questioning reality. This kid, was she really Ling Hao's daughter? To commemorate this unbelievable moment, I took out my phone. Guoguo was sitting on the sofa, swinging her little legs, completely absorbed in her book. I snapped another photo. Sunlight streamed through the floor-to-ceiling windows, coating her in a golden glow. The scene was unbelievably beautiful. I casually posted it online. Caption: "Became a dad overnight. Can I register this daughter under my household?" After posting, I returned to the kitchen to prepare dinner. I was proficient in all 8 great Chinese cuisines. Today I planned to show off my skills. I was making Buddha jumps over the wall. I had just finished preparing the abalone when my phone started vibrating like crazy. I wiped my hands, picked it up, and saw nothing but likes and comments. Ling Hao: "Get lost. That's my daughter, friend A. Brother Yuan, since when were you this impressive? You've been hiding your secrets well. Friend B: Who is this little fairy? Introduce her to me." "I have a 3-year-old younger brother," I replied with a smile. Just then, a text message suddenly popped up. It came from an unlisted number, but it was a string of digits I would never forget. By Ning Bing. Before I transmigrated, she was the woman the original Fang Yuan loved desperately, yet she discarded him like garbage. My former fiancé, now the head of the Buy Corporation, a cold and aloof CEO worth billions. The message was simple. Fang Yuan. 3 characters, 3 question marks. Even through the screen, I could feel the disbelief and interrogation in her tone. I froze. 4 years. A full 4 years. She had never contacted me once. Why was she suddenly texting me now? I unlocked the screen and opened the message. My finger hovered over the keyboard, but I had no idea what to reply. Before I could think of an answer, another message arrived. The child in your social media post. Who is she? This time, even the formalities were gone. Her tone was urgent and commanding. It hit me immediately. I frowned. A wave of irritation rose inside me. What right did she have to question me like that? We had no relationship anymore. I let out a cold laugh, muted my phone, and tossed it aside. Whoever it was, nothing mattered more than cooking for my little Guogu. The aroma of Buddha jumps over the walls soon filled the villa. Guogu sniffed the air. She lifted her head from her book. Her bright eyes sparkled as she looked at me. Uncle Fang, it smells amazing. Of course. Your uncle's cooking skills are something even a Michelin 3-star restaurant couldn't hire. I proudly raised my chin. During dinner, the little girl ate until her stomach was round. Completely satisfied, I carried her off for a bath and bedtime. After I finished cleaning everything up, I picked up my phone again. Only then did I notice more than 20 missed calls. Every single one was from Bai Ningbing. I laughed softly. Just as I was about to block her number, another text arrived. Open the door. I froze. Walking to the entrance, I checked the intercom camera. Outside the villa's ornate iron gate, a black luxury sedan was parked quietly. The car door opened. A tall woman in a pink business suit stepped out. Even through the screen, her cold and imposing aura was unmistakable. If it wasn't Bai Ningbing, then who else could it be? She actually came to my door. I curled my lips into a smirk. The anger in my heart instantly flared up. This woman was still the same as before. Domineering, controlling, looking down on everyone. I didn't open the door. Instead, I pressed the intercom button. My voice was cold as ice. President Bai, visiting so late at night? What can I do for you? There shouldn't be anything left for us to talk about. Fang Yuan. I'll say this one more time. Open the door. Bai Ningbing's voice came through the speaker. It carried restrained anger and a barely noticeable tremble. Don't force me to have someone tear this gate down. I laughed from sheer annoyance. 4 years apart, and her temper hadn't changed one bit. President Bai sure is imposing. But this gate was custom-made in Italy. If you break it, you'll be paying an 8-figure compensation bill. If money means nothing to you, then go ahead. I leaned against the wall, speaking leisurely. I could hear her quickened breathing on the other end. I could imagine the look on her face right now. She was probably furious enough to turn pale, yet completely powerless against me. That feeling felt amazing. Back then, the original Fang Yuan had humbled himself before her to the point of insignificance. He was the sole heir of the Fang family, a favored son of heaven. Yet for Bai Ningbing, he willingly cooked for her. I'm going to bed, gave up his career, all just to earn a smile from her. But how did Bai Ningbing treat him? She looked down on him. She thought he was useless, a loser who only knew how to rely on his family. At their engagement banquet, in front of all the guests, she mercilessly called off the engagement. She trampled the original Fang Yuan's dignity underfoot. Fang Yuan, you're not worthy of me. The man who becomes Bai Ningbing's husband must be someone who can stand beside me, at the pinnacle of the world. Not someone who only knows romance and idle pleasures. Those were her exact words. Every single word was like a knife stabbing into his heart. From that day onward, the original Fang Yuan was completely ruined. He spent his days drowning himself in alcohol until he eventually drank himself to death. After I transmigrated into this world, I inherited his body and memories. Naturally, I also inherited that hatred buried deep in his bones, but I never intended to seek revenge. Because for a woman like Bai Ningbing, the greatest revenge is to erase her completely from my world, let her believe that I'd always remain a hopeless failure. Then, somewhere beyond her sight, live 10,000 times better than she ever could. So I chose to take life easy. I handed the family business entirely over to professional managers. My only job was reviewing financial reports and collecting dividends. I enjoyed life, fitness, fine food, fine wine. I became exactly the kind of person Bai Ningbing despised. Yet I lived happier than anyone else. And what about her? She succeeded. She became the queen of the business world, an existence admired by countless people. But so what? In her life, besides work, what else was left? Thinking about that, the last trace of anger in my heart disappeared. Getting angry at a pitiful person was pointless. President Bai, it's late. If you enjoy standing guard, then keep standing there. With that, I hung up the phone. Meanwhile, Bai Ningbing stared at the disconnected call. Her delicate face was filled with shock. Fang Yuan. How dare he? How dare he speak to her in that tone? How dare he hang up on her? 4 years. She had thought this man was already rotting away in some forgotten corner. Yet today, not only was he doing perfectly fine, he even had a child. The moment she thought of that social media photo and the child's delicate features, they looked so much like... No, impossible. Bai Ningbing bit her lower lip hard. Her nails dug deep into her palms. She took out her phone and dialed his number again. No answer. She called again. The automated message informed her that the call couldn't be completed. He had blocked her. An unprecedented wave of panic and anger swept over Bai Ningbing. She stared at the tightly shut iron gate. Her eyes seemed ready to spit fire. Investigate him. Find out everything Fang Yuan has done over the past 4 years. And that child. I want to know everything about her. She practically roared the order at her assistant on the other end of the phone. As for me, I was already lying comfortably in bed. As for the woman outside, what did she have to do with me? I slept wonderfully that night. Early the next morning, I was awakened by a series of clanking sounds. I opened my eyes and saw Guogo standing on a small stool, busy working in my open kitchen. She was wearing one of my old t-shirts. The sleeves were rolled up high, exposing her tiny fair arms. She was struggling to whisk eggs in a bowl. Guogo? What are you doing? I was startled and quickly got out of bed. Hearing my voice, Guogo turned around and gave me a sweet smile. Good morning, Uncle Fang. I saw you were still asleep, so I wanted to make you a loving breakfast. She pointed to the toast that had already been baked and the milk she had warmed up. Looking at the sweat on her forehead and her flour-covered little hands, my heart warmed. Our Guoguo is amazing. I walked over and picked her up. But the kitchen is dangerous. You can't come in here alone anymore. Understand? Okay. Guogo nodded obediently. I kissed her forehead, then started cleaning up the mess she'd left behind. After a warm and cozy breakfast, I planned to take Guogo to a nearby park. The moment I opened the door, I saw 2 bodyguards in black suits wearing sunglasses, and behind them stood Bai Ningbing. She had changed her outfit, a white Chanel suit. Her hair was neatly tied back, her makeup was flawless, yet it still couldn't hide the dark circles under her eyes. It seemed she hadn't slept at all last night. Fang Yuan. Seeing me, she spoke with a complicated expression. I couldn't be bothered with her. Holding Guogu's hand, I started walking away. Stop! Bai Ningbing shouted sharply. Her gaze locked tightly onto Guogu's face. Startled by her, Guogo instinctively hid behind me. Only her bright round eyes remained visible, curiously looking at Bai Ningbing. That single glance made Bai Ningbing tremble all over. Those eyes were far too similar to the person buried deep in her memories. Almost identical. Her breathing instantly became ragged. Her chest rose and fell violently. Who is she? Bai Ningbing's voice trembled. I shielded Guogo behind me. Looking at her coldly, I said, That's my private business. It has nothing to do with you. Fang Yuan! Bai Ningbing stepped forward, trying to grab my arm. I sidestepped and avoided her. She missed completely. Staggering slightly, embarrassment flashed across her face. Tell me. Who exactly is she? How old is she? When is her birthday? She was practically stumbling over her words as she asked. Seeing her so out of control, a ridiculous thought suddenly crossed my mind. Could it be that she thought Guogo was her child? That was absurd. Back then, she had left so decisively. She was disgusted even by looking at Fang Yuan one extra time. How could she possibly have been carrying his child? And even if she had been, with her personality, she would have terminated the pregnancy without hesitation. President Bai, have you been working too hard lately? Are you hallucinating? I curled my lips into a mocking smile. I suggest you see a doctor. Stop acting crazy in front of me. Bai Ningbin was left speechless by my words. Her face flushed bright red. Just then, Guogo suddenly peeked out from behind me. Looking at Bai Ningbin, she asked in her sweet childish voice, Auntie, do you know my daddy? Daddy? Bai Ningbin's pupils suddenly contracted. She called Fang Yuan Daddy. So, this really was Fang Yuan's daughter? Then who was her mother? During these 4 years, had another woman entered his life, and even had a child with him? The moment that possibility entered her mind, Bai Ningbin felt as if an invisible hand had gripped her heart. The pain nearly stole her breath. An indescribable jealousy and anger instantly overwhelmed her. Your father? Bai Ningbin's gaze turned icy. She stared straight at me. Her voice carried a sharpness she didn't even notice herself. Fang Yuan, when did you get married? I was almost amused by her logic. Had this woman gone crazy? Whether I got married or not, what did it have to do with her? President Bai, aren't you meddling a little too much? I completely lost my patience. Holding Guogo's hand, I turned and walked away. A good dog doesn't block the road. Please move aside. Fang Yuan, stop right there! Bai Ningbin was completely enraged. She stepped forward and grabbed my arm tightly. Her grip was strong. Her nails dug painfully into my skin. I frowned, just about to lose my temper, when Guogo suddenly broke free from my hand. Like a little cannonball, she charged forward. She bumped straight into Bai Ningbin's leg. Don't bully my uncle! The little girl spread her arms wide, like a mother hen protecting her chicks. She stood in front of me. Looking up, she glared angrily at Bai Ningbin. Bai Ningbin staggered back a step from the impact. Looking down at the tiny child, her expression became incredibly complicated. There was shock, anger, and a trace of confusion she herself didn't understand. Watching the scene before me, I didn't know whether to laugh or get angry. Please leave my doorstep immediately, otherwise, I'm calling the police. The police? Bai Ningbin acted as though she'd heard the world's funniest joke. Fang Yuan, what exactly are you reporting? Harassment? Don't forget, we were nothing. I coldly cut her off. President Bai, 4 years ago. You already made yourself perfectly clear. Between us, it ended long ago. My life, my future, have nothing to do with you. The way you're acting now only makes me sick. Sick. Those 2 words were like needles stabbing straight into Bai Ningbin's heart. Her face instantly turned pale. Her body swayed. She could barely remain standing. She looked at me, her eyes filled with disbelief. Once upon a time, the way this man looked at her was always filled with admiration and obsession, as if she were his entire world. But now, in his eyes, there was only cold disgust. Why? Since when had everything changed? Fang Yuan? She opened her mouth. She wanted to say something, but her throat felt blocked. Not a single word came out. I didn't want to keep dealing with her. Carrying Guogu, I walked around her and headed straight for the garage. Uncle Fang? That auntie is really strange, Guogo whispered from my shoulder. Ignore her. She's just a crazy woman, I replied calmly. Behind me, Bai Ningbin stared at my resolute back and at the little girl on my shoulder, who made a funny face at her. It felt as though all her strength had drained away. Slowly, she crouched down. Covering her face with both hands, her shoulders trembled uncontrollably. Why? Why did her heart hurt so much? I spent the entire morning at the park with Guoguo. The little girl was bursting with energy, sliding down slides, riding swings, and having the time of her life. My mood improved as well. At noon, I took her to a newly opened private restaurant. The head chef there was someone I had personally invited from Suzhou. Her Suzhou cuisine was nothing short of masterful. The moment I entered the private room, I froze. A young woman in a white dress stood by the window. She was quietly admiring the scenery outside. Hearing us enter, she turned around. When she saw me, surprise appeared on her face. Mr. Fang, what brings you here? I smiled. Miss Jiang, what a coincidence. I brought a child out to play, and thought I'd stop by to try your cooking. The young woman's name was Jiang Ru. She was both the owner and head chef of the restaurant. I had met her at a food appreciation event. She had a very pure aura about her. When she smiled, 2 shallow dimples appeared on her cheeks. It was charming. I had a good impression of her. Over time, we became friends. Is this your daughter? She's adorable. Jiang Ru's gaze landed on Guogo. Her eyes were full of affection. She's a friend's child. She's staying with me for a few days, I explained. Guogo politely greeted her. Hello, big sister. Jiang Ru laughed. Squatting down, she gently pinched Guogo's cheek. Hello there, little beauty. For some reason, Guogo seemed naturally drawn to Jiang Ru. She even took Jiang Ru's hand on her own. The meal was delightful. Jiang Ru's cooking truly lived up to its reputation. Every dish looked like a work of art, and the taste was incredible. Guogo ate until her lips were shiny with sauce. She kept praising Jiang Ru. Your cooking is 100 times better than Uncle Fang's. Me? My status as her favorite adult instantly plummeted. After the meal, Jiang Ru absolutely refused to accept payment. She even packed lots of homemade pastries for Guogu. Mr. Fang? Bring Guogo by more often. I really like her. She smiled, her cheeks slightly flushed. Looking at her bright smile, my heart stirred. Perhaps ending my retirement-like lifestyle and starting a new relationship wouldn't be such a bad idea. Just as my imagination began to wander, my phone rang again. It was an unknown number. I frowned and answered the call. Hello, Mr. Fang. This is Zhao Ming, President Bai's assistant. On the other end of the line, a man's respectful voice spoke. President Bai would like to discuss Miss Guogo's custody rights with you. I froze. Custody rights? Have you made a mistake? Guogo is my friend's child. She has absolutely nothing to do with President Bai. Mr. Fang, we have already investigated everything. Zhao Ming's tone remained calm, but his next words hit like a thunderbolt. They exploded in my ears. 4 years ago, President Bai was indeed pregnant with your child. However, due to certain misunderstandings, she never knew the truth. It was only recently that she learned what happened from the doctor who treated her back then. Based on the photo you posted online, we conducted a preliminary comparison of Miss Guogo's age and physical features. We are 90% certain that she is the child President Bai lost unexpectedly back then. My grip on the phone tightened suddenly. My mind went completely blank. What? Bai Ningbin had been pregnant with my child? There was no such memory in the original Fang Yuan's recollections. And besides, what did he mean by unexpectedly lost? What was behind that implication? Explain yourself clearly. Suppressing my shock, I growled. Mr. Fang, regarding the details, I believe President Bai should explain them to you personally. She is currently waiting for you outside your home. After saying that, Zhao Ming hung up. I stood there, unable to regain my senses for a long time. Guoguo was really my daughter with Bai Ningbin? How was that possible? Filled with doubt and shock, I drove back to the villa. Before the car had even stopped, I saw the familiar Bentley. Bai Ningbin stood beside it. Her face was pale. She looked exhausted, yet her eyes were unusually determined. The moment she saw me step out, she hurried over. Fang Yuan, let's talk. Her voice was hoarse, carrying a hint of pleading. I looked at her, my emotions complicated. If what Zhao Ming said was true, then this woman was my daughter's biological mother. I took a deep breath. Lifting the sleeping Guoguo from the car, I tried to keep my voice steady. Come inside first. We entered the villa. I carried Guoguo back to her room, tucked her in, and only then returned to the living room. Bai Ningbin stood awkwardly in the middle of the room like a child who had done something wrong. This appearance was completely different from her usual image as the aloof, ice-cold CEO. Sit. I pointed at the sofa. She sat down. Her hands were tightly clasped together, revealing her nervousness. Go on. What exactly happened? I poured myself a glass of water and asked directly. Bai Ningbin looked up. Her lips trembled. Only after a struggle did she speak. 4 years ago, after we broke up, I discovered I was pregnant. My heart sank. At the time, I was overwhelmed. Her voice was filled with pain and regret. The internal power struggles within the Bai family were intense. I had just taken over the company. There were enemies everywhere. If people found out I was pregnant before marriage, my position would become extremely unstable. So you, I asked coldly. No, she denied immediately. I never did that. I only wanted to keep it a secret for the time being. I went to the hospital for an examination. But my stepmother? She always saw me as a thorn in her side. She bribed the doctor. They gave me medication. Then they announced publicly that I had lost the baby unexpectedly. Bai Ningbin's eyes turned red. Her voice trembled with tears. I always believed that the child was gone. Until a few days ago, when I accidentally met that doctor from back then. If I had told you, the child had actually been sent to an orphanage. I searched for her like a madwoman. But that orphanage had been demolished years ago. All the records were lost. I thought I would never find her again. Until I saw the photo on your social media. She looked up. Through tear-filled eyes, she stared at me. Fang Yuan, Guogo is our daughter. Isn't she? Her birthday is May 20th, right? And she's allergic to mangoes, isn't she? Her blood type, it's Rh negative, isn't it? Her rapid-fire questions completely stunned me. Guogo's birthday really was May 20th. She was indeed allergic to mangoes. As for her blood type, I didn't know. But this couldn't all be coincidence. Could it? Suddenly, I remembered Lin Hao's average-looking face. Then I thought of Guoguo's intelligence, far beyond that of children her age, a terrifying possibility. Her eyes were full of guilt and pleading, began forming in my mind. I took out my phone and called Lin Hao. The phone rang for a long time before he answered. Hello? Brother Yuan? What's up? I'm in a meeting. Lin Hao sounded guilty. Lin Hao. My voice was as cold as ice. I'm only asking one thing. Guogu. Whose child is she really? On the other end, silence fell instantly. A full 30 seconds passed. Then Lin Hao spoke, almost in a whisper. Brother Yuan. You already know? Lin Hao, you've got some nerve. You hid something this huge from me. For 4 years. What do you take me for? Bro! Please listen to me. Lin Hao panicked. The situation was special back then. You had just broken up with Bai Ningbin. You drank yourself senseless every day. That you had become a father. You would have completely lost your mind. And besides, you know how dangerous the Bai family was. Bai Ningbin's stepmother was a vicious snake. If I had handed the child to you, she never would have spared you or your daughter. So, I made the decision myself. I registered Guogu under my name and raised her as my own daughter. I thought, once the danger had passed, and once you recovered, I'd tell you the truth. Then why didn't you tell me now? I was so angry I wanted to smash my phone. I just saw that you and Guoguo were getting along so well. I couldn't figure out how to bring it up. Lin Hao's voice grew quieter and quieter. I hung up. It felt as though my entire world had been turned upside down. Guoguo really was my daughter. Feng Yuan, had a biological daughter. That realization filled me with shock and joy, yet also felt unreal. I looked toward Bai Ningbin. Feng Yuan, enough. I cut her off coldly. My mind was a complete mess. I didn't want to see this woman at all. If not for her, my daughter and I would never have been separated for 4 years. She was the root cause of all of this. Bai Ningbin. Guoguo is indeed my daughter. I looked at her and spoke each word clearly. But she has nothing to do with you. No. She is my daughter. Bai Ningbin stood up excitedly. I let out a cold laugh. 4 years ago, you couldn't protect her. For the past 4 years, you never cared about her. And now, what gives you the right to say she's your daughter? A few crocodile tears? I didn't know. If I had known she was still alive, I would have gone looking for her. She cried hysterically. I didn't want to hear any more of her excuses. Let me tell you something. Guoguo is my bottom line. Don't even think about taking her away from me. I don't mind making the Bai group disappear from this world. My voice wasn't loud, but every word carried unquestionable authority. Bai Ningbin trembled. She stared at me in disbelief. The man standing before her felt strangely unfamiliar. I was no longer the Feng Yuan who obeyed her every word and looked at her with love in his eyes. My gaze was cold and sharp, like a blade capable of cutting into a person's soul. Especially what I had just said, making the Bai group disappear. What gave me the confidence? Wasn't I merely an abandoned heir cast aside by my family? When she met my unfathomable eyes, she couldn't utter a single word. A fear she had never experienced before gripped her heart. I issued the order. Leave my house immediately. Before I change my mind. Bai Ningbin left in a daze. I sat alone in the empty living room. My thoughts were a complete mess. A father. To barely come to terms with that fact. The next morning, looking at Guoguo's little face, which looked so much like mine. This was my daughter. My flesh and blood. From today onward, I was no longer alone. Guoguo rubbed her eyes. She called out sleepily. My heart was instantly struck. I pulled her into my arms. My voice was choked with emotion. Daddy? Okay. Daddy will make breakfast for you. My life changed completely. I was no longer the lazy man content with drifting through life. I had become a father. The best life in the world. Clearly hadn't taken my warning seriously. She began trying every possible way to get close to Guogu. She sent mountains of toys, designer children's clothes. I returned everything untouched. She personally waited outside Guogu's kindergarten, hoping to run into her. But my bodyguard stopped her. She even used her influence to transfer Guogu into the most prestigious kindergarten in the capital. The principal politely refused. Mr. Fang, it is our honor to have your daughter at our kindergarten. As for President Bai's request, we have already made it clear. All matters concerning Miss Guogu will only follow your instructions. The principal spoke respectfully over the phone. After hanging up, I sneered. Do you really think money and power allow you to do whatever you want? Do you really think the past 4 years were spent doing nothing but lazing around? I simply couldn't be bothered to compete. Couldn't be bothered to fight. But that doesn't mean What Grandpa left behind wasn't just visible wealth, a vast and intricate network of connections. That network was enough to let me walk freely through the capital. Compared to that, were child's play. But her repeated harassment still annoyed me. She started targeting people around me. Zhanglu's private restaurant was suddenly subjected to repeated fire safety and health inspections. I knew exactly who was behind it. I immediately called Bai Ningbin. Bai Ningbin, you've got some nerve. You're going after the people around me? My voice was ice cold. I just wanted to see Guogo. Why are you treating me like this? Her voice sounded full of grievance. I laughed angrily. You planted dead rats in Jiang Lu's restaurant. And you're asking me that? Do you really think I wouldn't dare touch you? I only asked them to conduct routine inspections. I didn't know it would turn out like this, she hurriedly defended herself. Whether you did it or not. I couldn't be bothered arguing. You have 24 hours to restore Jiang Lu's restaurant. You will personally apologize to him. Otherwise, you'll face the consequences. Less than 30 minutes later, Zhang Lo called. His voice was full of surprise. Mr. Fang, I don't know what happened. The inspectors just came back. They said there had been a mistake. They even apologized. And said we could reopen immediately. That's good. I breathed a sigh of relief. Mr. Fang, his voice was full of gratitude. Don't mention it. After hanging up, I looked out the window. Bai Ningbin. This is the last time. If there's a next time gold, don't blame me for being ruthless. Yet I still underestimated her obsession. Explosive news appeared on the front pages of major financial media outlets. Bai Group President Bai Ningbin, suspected of rekindling romance with former fiancé Fang Yuan. The two allegedly share a daughter. The article included several secretly taken photos. One showed me carrying Guogo from a car. Bai Ningbin was approaching us. Another showed us confronting each other in the living room. Though separated by glass, the angle made it look as if we were gazing lovingly into each other's eyes. That there was even a photo of Zhang Lu. The headline suggested he was a third party interfering in the relationship. Looking at these fabricated reports. Good. Very good. You are forcing my hand. My phone practically exploded with calls. Reporters, long-lost relatives. Even my carefree parents overseas called me. Son, since when did you get back together? With that Bai family girl. And when did you have a child? My mother's voice was full of shock. It's not what you think, I explained wearily. After finally calming her down, I received another call from Lin Hao. Brother Yuan, has Bai Ningbin gone crazy? What's she trying to do? Force you into marriage? I let out a cold laugh. After hanging up, I stared at the increasingly outrageous news reports. My gaze grew colder and colder. Public opinion. An excited voice came through the phone. She was my most trusted confidant and the actual helmsman of my business empire. Zhang Yang. A woman known on Wall Street back when I chose to live a laid-back life, I had handed everything over to her. She had increased my assets more than tenfold. Under her control was a vast business empire, with several times larger than the Bai Group. This was the trump card I had always kept hidden. What are your orders? Zhang Yang's voice instantly became respectful. The Bai Group. Have you heard of it? A company that's been making headlines lately. Are you interested in them, boss? I'm giving you 3 days. Looking out the window, I spoke calmly. I wanted to disappear completely from the stock market. Yes, boss. Zhang Yang sounded excited. After hanging up, I hadn't wanted to go this far. But Bai Ningbin, after dealing with that, I remembered there was another innocent victim in all of this. Jiang Ru. I immediately called her. The call connected, but it was very quiet on the other end. I called cautiously. Mr. Fang. Her voice was very soft, carrying a faint nasal tone. She had been crying. My heart tightened. I apologized sincerely. This happened because of me. I'm sorry for dragging you into it. It's not your fault. She sniffled, trying to sound normal. I'm just a little sad. How can those people say such things about me? Don't read those news reports. They're all nonsense. I comforted her gently. Trust me. I'll resolve everything soon. I trust you, she said softly. Those words felt like a warm current. When everyone else was questioning me, when everyone was waiting to laugh at me, only she chosen to trust me without hesitation. Zhang Ru. I called her name almost unconsciously. When this is all over, can I pursue you? The line fell silent, a long silence. Just when I thought she would reject me, she spoke in a voice so soft. Okay. Over the next 3 days, the business world of the capital experienced an unprecedented earthquake. The Bai Group, once a glorious commercial giant, within just 3 days. Its market value evaporated by 90%. Everyone was stunned. No one knew what had happened. They only knew that a mysterious overseas fund had descended like a bloodthirsty beast, striking with ruthless precision at every one of Bai Group's businesses. Banks cut off loans, partners terminated contracts. As the saying goes, when the tree falls, the monkeys scatter. The once mighty Bai empire crumbled overnight, and the mastermind behind it all was leisurely sitting at home, playing with Lego blocks with his daughter. "Daddy, why did this building fall down?" Guogo pointed at the blocks she had knocked over. "Because its foundation wasn't stable." I smiled. No matter how tall a building is always the most important part. Just like the Bai Group. It looked glamorous on the surface, but it had already rotted from within. I merely gave it a gentle push. On the morning of the fourth day, Bai Ningbin came. She looked even more haggard than before. Her face was pale as paper. Her eyes were bloodshot. She stood at the door staring at me. "You did this?" she asked. Her voice was hoarse as though scraped by sandpaper. "Why?" She looked at me. Tears suddenly streamed down her face. "Fang Yuan, why are you doing this to me? Even if you hate me, you shouldn't have destroyed the Bai Group. That was my grandfather's life's work." "I gave you a chance." I looked at her. There wasn't a trace of sympathy in my eyes. "You were the one who pushed the Bai Group into the abyss. I only wanted to see Guogu," she cried. "I only wanted to make up for my mistakes." "Was I wrong?" "You weren't wrong," I replied calmly. "You were just too selfish. You never truly considered how Guogu felt. You only wanted to satisfy. You claimed it was love. But all you've done is hurt her and everyone around her. Bai Ningbin, the only person you've ever loved is yourself." She staggered backward, then collapsed to the ground. I looked down at her from above. My heart remained unmoved. Was she pitiful? Perhaps, but she had brought all of this upon herself. At that moment, Guogo ran out of the room. She saw Bai Ningbin collapsed on the ground, crying. She froze, then ran over to me, hugging my leg. "Daddy, that auntie is here again." Hearing Guogu's voice, Bai Ningbin suddenly raised her head, as if she had grasped her last lifeline. I frowned, then picked Guogu up. I looked coldly at Bai Ningbin. "Bai Ningbin, stop frightening my daughter. Until you learn how to be a mother, you have no right to see her." After saying that, I carried Guogo inside. Turning back toward the villa, I closed the door. Outside, Bai Ningbin's desperate cries echoed. I ignored them completely. Some mistakes, once made, last a lifetime. The Bai Group went bankrupt. Bai Ningbin fell from the clouds into the mud. All of her assets were frozen to repay debts. Overnight, she went from a favored daughter of heaven to a fallen nobody. Such is the coldness of the world. All of this information came from Zhang Yang. After hearing it, I merely hummed in acknowledgement. None of it had anything to do with me anymore. My life returned to normal. Every day I spent time with Guogo, cooked for her, took her to school, and played with her. I began learning how to be a real father, even though I was clumsy at it. But I enjoyed every moment of it, and my relationship with Zhang Ru was progressing rapidly. She was a very gentle and kind-hearted woman. She never asked me anything about Bai Ningbin. She simply stayed by my side, quietly. She remembered all my preferences. She would cook my favorite dish, sweet and sour mandarin fish. She painted with Guoguo, played games with her, and Guoguo liked her more and more. She even started calling her Mommy Zhang Ru. Whenever I saw them laughing happily together, I would think, this must be what happiness feels like. One day I took Guogu to Zhang Ru's restaurant for dinner. Business was even better than before. Zhang Ru had reserved the best table for us. While we were eating, a waitress suddenly came over. "Sister Zhang, there's someone outside who insists on seeing you. She says she's your former classmate." Former classmate? What was meant to come would eventually arrive. A few minutes later, Bai Ningbin walked in. She had lost a lot of weight. She wore faded old clothes. There was no makeup on her face. She looked worn and exhausted. Yet her eyes were calm. She saw me, Guoguo sitting beside me, and Zhang Ru across from us. Her body stiffened slightly. But she quickly regained her composure. "Zhang Ru? Long time no see." She smiled at Zhang Ru. The smile was bitter. "Bing Bing?" Zhang Ru looked surprised. "You know each other?" "We were university classmates. And roommates," Bai Ningbin explained. I raised an eyebrow. The world really was small. "Did you need something?" Zhang Ru asked politely but distantly. I'm here to apply for a job." Bai Ningbin lowered her head. Her voice was barely audible. "I saw your restaurant was hiring servers. I'd like to try." Zhang Ru froze. So did I. The former CEO of the Bai Group, once untouchable, now wanted to work as a waitress in this restaurant. That humiliation must have hurt more than death. Bing bing. You. I know. Bai Ningbin interrupted. I know how pathetic I look. She lifted her head. There was a trace of pleading in her eyes. But I really need a job. I'll do anything. All right. Jiang Ru sighed. Come to work tomorrow. Thank you. Thank you, Jiang Ru. Bai Ningbin repeatedly expressed her gratitude. Her gaze couldn't help drifting toward Guogo. Guogo was taking small bites of the shrimp Jiang Ru had placed in her bowl, completely unaware of everything around her. Bai Ningbin's eyes were filled with endless tenderness and longing. Yet she said nothing. She only looked deeply at Guogo once, then turned and left. From that day on, Bai Ningbin became a waitress in Jiang Ru's restaurant. She worked extremely hard. She volunteered for every dirty or difficult task. She was no longer the cold, powerful CEO, just an ordinary person struggling to make a living. She rarely spoke. She simply worked quietly. But every time I brought Guogo to the restaurant, her eyes would unconsciously follow Guogo. She would secretly add an extra sugar cube to Guogo's juice. When Guogo accidentally stained her clothes, she would be the first to bring a towel. She did everything carefully, afraid I might notice. But I noticed everything. I simply said nothing. Perhaps time truly is a miracle cure. It can smooth away a person's sharp edges and teach them how to change. It was Guoguo's 5th birthday. I rented an entire amusement park and held a grand birthday party for her. Jiang Ru personally made a 3-tier princess castle cake. Lin Hao and his wife flew back from overseas. They hugged and kissed Guoguo endlessly. My precious goddaughter. Godfather missed you so much. Looking at the lively scene, I couldn't help smiling. Daddy. I'm so happy today. Guogo wrapped her arms around my neck and kissed my cheek. Daddy's happy too. After the party, Jiang Ru, Guogo, and I prepared to go home. At the amusement park exit, we saw a familiar figure. It was Bai Ningbin. She held a small gift box, standing there awkwardly. I just wanted to wish Guogu a happy birthday. She held out the gift box. I didn't take it. Guoguo poked her head out from my arms, looking at her curiously. Auntie, did you come to my birthday party too? Bai Ningbin's eyes instantly turned red. She nodded. Her voice trembled. Yes. Happy birthday. Guogo looked at her, then looked at me. Then she said, Thank you, Auntie. But my birthday wish has already come true. What was it? Bai Ningbin asked instinctively. Guogo stretched out her little hands, holding my hand with one hand and Jiang Ru's with the other. Her face glowed with happiness. My wish is for Daddy and Mommy Jiang Ru to always stay together and always love me. I watched the color drain from Bai Ningbin's face. She looked at our tightly joined hands, then at the pure smile on Guogo's face. The light in her eyes faded little by little. She had lost. Completely. At last she understood. Some things, once missed, can never be recovered. She bowed deeply to us, then turned around, step by step, disappearing into the night. Her back looked lonely, desolate, and small. I watched her leave. I felt neither hatred nor sympathy. Only peace remained. Everything was finally over. I lowered my head and looked at Jiang Ru and Guogo beside me. The sunshine was perfect. The breeze was gentle. My new life had only just begun. 1 year later, I proposed to Jiang Ru. On a sunny afternoon inside her private restaurant, I knelt on one knee and took out a ring made from one of Guogo's baby teeth. Jiang Ru, will you marry me? She cried, laughed, and nodded. On the wedding day, Guogo wore a white little dress and served as our flower girl. Lin Hao was my best man. He cried even harder than I did. I've raised this cabbage for 4 years. And now you're just taking her away. I laughed and punched him lightly. Near the end of the wedding, I received a call from an unknown number. On the other end was a woman's voice. Fang Yuan, I wish you happiness. It was Bai Ningbin. And I wish that you find your own happiness too, I replied. I already have. There was relief in her voice, a faint smile. I'm teaching in a mountain village now. The children here are wonderful. This is the best place for me. After hanging up, I looked at Jiang Ru, smiling like a flower beside me, and at Guogo, chasing butterflies across the grass. My heart felt completely at peace. Life will always have regrets, is cherishing the people before you. As the saying goes, among all things in the world, only love and beauty should never be wasted. And I had both. The end.